Ooh, you're live. Woohoo. Welcome. I am pretty excited to be here. It is a busy 4th of July weekend, so there's a lot going on around the area. There is a street fair in Mount Shasta that I went to last night, well, yesterday, more like in the daytime. And two things in particular stood out as funny. The first was that I was recording a video off to the side, um, talking about there's a booth that was set up for the like wildlife. I'm not even really sure, to be honest. But they had, like deer head hanging on this wall. They had other like animal corpses. They had like this. There's a guy that was sitting at this table, and he had these animal heads on the table. And so I'm off to the side. I'm not even engaging with anybody. And he basically calls me over and he's like, "Ma'am, you look like you're interested in learning about this." And I'm just like, "Oh, buddy, you just called over the wrong person, because this is psychopathy." Like, I was just basically going on about veganism, obviously. And he was essentially talking about studying animals that were found dead in the forest already or whatever. And so, I said, at least you're not actually killing animals, supposedly, allegedly. But at the same time, like this whole concept of touching dead things and just, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't want my child to be in this kind of profession. But it was kind of funny. The conversation just kind of went on for a while, and I was talking about veganism. He's like, "Ma'am, this is not what I'm here for. I'm here to promote my new." See, that's the thing. Like, I don't even know what he was promoting because it was a list. Like, he called me over, and I don't really care about what you're talking about, to be honest. I'm just gonna railroad you with veganism stuff because you called me over to a table where there are animal skulls on the table. It's like, anyways. So this is going on for a while, and then all of a sudden, this random lady and man, well, supposedly, came up, and she was like, "Oh, I have a question for him." And I just like kind of kept talking, and she picks up this air horn off of the table and basically like blows it at me. And I just like looked at her, and where I was standing, like across the way, there was a sheriff's booth. So there was all these officers standing there, and I was like, "Is that supposed to be like a threat and intimidation? Like, are you trying to threaten me with this?" Because they did it extremely aggressively in my face. I was just like, I'm having a conversation with this guy too, and he actually called me over. So it was a pretty funny situation. And then I walked away and walked down a little bit, and there was a booth with these. I don't even know what they were actually made out of. Probably like crystal or glass blown like balls that are decorative, whatever. Um, and of course, there were like maybe 2 or 3 globes, and then there was one that was like that Starry Night painting. I don't remember who painted it. I don't really follow famous painters, but the famous Starry Night painting was wrapped around this ball. So it wasn't just globes. But anyways, I got a short video. I'll have to see how the footage turned out. But I was like, and you see here, like, look at this sci-fi globe. And the person that was running the booth wasn't even like, I wasn't trying to get their attention or have a conversation or have any issues with them. I was just making my own video off to the side. They were talking to somebody else, and I did get their attention, but I was like, the rest of the stuff is pretty, but the globes are just stupid. So yeah, I'll have to see how that footage came out and see if I can post any of that. But anyways, Kyle says Vincent Van Gogh. Yes. Okay. Hi, Kyle. How's it going? David D. Booth guy with dead animals called you over and I got an earful from the queen. Exactly. It was really funny. Hey, Sage. How's it going? That sounds like assault. Exactly. Those are fighting words right there. If you grab a blowhorn, air horn type thing, and I guess they're 2 different things probably, but I really don't know the difference. I'm not into these things, but yeah, the little can that's like really loud. So I was like, wow. I actually tried to say, I tried to ask the lady that blew that in my face, like, what she eats for breakfast, basically. Like, you want to try to come at me when you eat dead animals for breakfast? Like, it's not your business what I eat for breakfast. So, like, well, when there's animals being hurt, it actually is our business. So, yes. Hi, Amarjita, how's it going? On the EIDUI, are these words? I'm sorry for my ignorance. At this festival, where large number of animals were sacrificed or killed. Oh my goodness! Wow, that is really sad, especially seeing how all the creator of this world, whatever you want to call the creator, there's only one creator, and different cultures have different names for this creator, and the powers that be try to keep us separated in different groups so that we are hating each other, so that we're divided based on religion, based on race, based on every separating factor that they can get us to be separated on and fight against each other, rather than realizing like they're all these religions are, well, not, I don't say every religion obviously, but the the commonality of these religions, there's a lot of things in common with them, but ultimately there's only one creator. So if we're all claiming that we're worshiping the creator, there should be unity in that. um, I think that there is one, like, essentially true religion when we're all awake and we know the truth of our reality. um, that would be the, a true religion, the all of us uniting in these things. I don't see as a bad thing. So yes. um, Hello from Ukraine. Hi, how's it going? Sage says hi, Demetrio. How are you guys all doing today? It is pretty hot outside, actually. In Reading, it was like 105 yesterday. Um, I don't know, that was actually just what I was told, but it is extremely hot here. And the weather has been extremely bizarre and unreliable for being able to grow anything, really. Um, in the previous years, I have tried to grow potatoes, but the weather modification and having freezing happen after I've planted them, mixed with some pesky squirrels that have dug up my potatoes in the past, I really have not been focusing on growing anything recently. So that's really not a good thing, because most of us know that they are planning famine soon, and we're getting closer to these plans unraveling every day rather than further away. Um, so, yeah, I definitely encourage people to prepare as much as possible and have emergency stockpiles of supplies. Preferably have them buried so that they can't be taken from you if they're in your house. The powers that be, especially in America, already have laws that state that they can, in a time of emergency, right? They create the emergency so that they can do all of these laws, and enforce all of these rules. Um, During a time of emergency, they can basically take over your land, your farmland, your farm equipment. They can take excess stockpiles of food, right? What they deem as excessive, which, once you go vegan and you kind of see the similarities of the evil powers that be and non-vegans, like, what comes to mind is, oh, bees make enough honey, so we are only just taking the extra. It's like, do you like paying taxes? Do you like that the government they're just taking the extra? They're just coming into your house and taking the extra out of your cupboards because, it's extra, right? And in this world, if you're bigger than somebody else, you could just go take what you want from them. That's what you are doing to bees. That's what you're doing to cows. It's what you're doing to all these other species. So don't cry when it happens to you. So definitely do not have a human-based focus perspective any longer. Like most humans are only focused on our own species and oh, woe is us, we're being farmed. It's like look at the bigger picture and see our species deserves much worse than what we are currently experiencing. Kyle says it's been raining nonstop for the past 3 or 4 hours, and now the sun is finally out. Is it hot or is the temperature mild? I am actually working on digging some trenches at my house, which will eventually house, yeah, I guess, water line and electricity and all of the pipes for the bathroom type stuff. In my future castles. I'm super excited about that, but it's really hard work. The ground here is like, I basically have to chip. The method that I was doing is like taking the shovel and actually chipping down into the trench, and then kind of, instead of like working from the top. But it's really hard because it's like full of rocks. It's extremely unwelcoming soil. So trying to plant anything in that is also really, really hard, unfortunately. I've talked to some people that have lived around this area like their whole lives, and they've said, that over time the soil has just basically turned against us. So I think that was like their words. And he's actually talking about moving his family out of the area because not only that, but because of all of the wildfires. We're getting ready to go into wildfire season here in California. And I say wildfire because they're never actually wild. They're always contained. Like we live in a completely controlled reality, and they use these different types of, I was going to say natural disasters. They're not natural. They use these different types of disasters, again, to implement their order, to cause fear, to drive humans away from here, away from Mount Shasta. They don't want us to be here. Specifically, as I've said many times about the root chakra, it's an extremely powerful point on the earth, and when they control it and they are doing all this evil, focused evil on this area, they are infecting, and corrupting the rest of the tree that is Earth. So they're really intent on keeping control of Mount Shasta. I am kind of expecting to have a little bit of a battle on some of the full moon celebrations to maintain control, because they do not want to lose their control. And it's really frustrating because I have been doing these full moon celebrations for 5 or 6 years now, and the powers that be do a really good job of keeping real humans away. I have met some really awesome people, like people that I know from Facebook, online, but there's like a lot of agents and assets that are around here, and they swarm to basically keep control. And these same clowns, whether they are, forced to do these things, whether they are, maybe they got in trouble legally for some reason, and the government said, we'll lessen your charges if you do this for us. And now they are acting as this role. They could be, it could be their family, or they could be inverts. Like there's a number of reasons that souls actually do these things. But yeah, Mount Shasta, as I've talked before about the community, this CIA controlled, essentially hippie acid cult, where they are all about love and light, and they pass out the best acid people have ever had. I haven't had it. This is just what I have been told. They basically dose people up, and then if they don't participate the proper way, they send them on their way down the mountain through really dangerous territory when you're tripping. Like just horrible things. But anyways, my whole point, I guess, is that I'm expecting some kickback from them this summer. But there's a few of them that basically go around and spread gossip about me and really try to, like, I've been up there setting up for the event and had a supposed grown man going around to different people and gossiping about me. I'm like, why are you acting like a gossipy old woman? Like, is that what we're dealing with here? Are you trying to reveal your true nature, that you are a gossipy old woman? Because men don't do this. Like, at least not the men that I would associate myself with. Like, going around and spreading lies and gossip about like people. It's just, then these people pretend to be spiritual and they're like taking part in like conferences and taking money from people for these spiritual experiences. Like, demons are very willing to give these supposed spiritual people signs and wonders and give them all these beautiful, eloquent speeches to say, to tickle your ears and, kiss your butt and get you to fall under their control. They're manipulating you into believing them, into following them, into paying for their retreats, into whatever they're trying to do. So it's really frustrating that Mount Shasta is so full of those types of people. Yeah, they are definitely, they swarm the area and try to like just, I don't want to say rape people, but that's what they're doing. They're like using the spirituality and the mystical nature of this area, magical nature, to manipulate people, and it's really frustrating. They have these like goddess retreats and female empowerment, and it's like the person that's running it is literally a man pretending to be a female. All right. Amarjita says it's been raining nonstop in India also. Oh, wow. I don't know about you guys, but we have actually been having a lot of drought around here for the past few years. So when it rains, I'm pretty excited. We recently had a freak hailstorm for a little while, but otherwise it's so dry around here that it's really bad. David D says farmers of other species deserve to be farmed. I agree with that. Yeah, people of the, with the limited human perspective don't see this that way. They don't see farmers as slave owners, but that's what they are. And you know what goes on farms? Like rape and sodomy of cows to get them pregnant so that the child can be used, so that the mother can produce milk. It's like the disgusting things that these farmers do. They should be locked up. It's like, it's just wrong. Kyle says it's 75. Okay, that's not too bad. Getting hotter though. How close do you live to like any lakes or anything that you can go to? Herman Walker says, hello, Dream Queen. Hi, how are you? Glad that you could make it. David D says, purify Shasta, purify the root. Control must be seized by force of will. I agree. Oh, thank you, Harmon Walker, for translating. I think humanity is doomed. I understand that it's really easy to get that way, because especially when you go vegan and you see some really evil darkness. But I personally try to focus on babies, and children are innocent and they're like a blank slate that can be raised and be programmed to do anything. I don't personally believe that being programmed is particular a bad thing. Our brains are kind of like a computer, so there is programming going on. Good programming is what we want to focus on. So you can use good programming to make humanity better, but those ruling over humanity don't want that. So we need to remove them from their positions of power, and then we will definitely see some changes. Like, they want us to be deliberately dumbed down, the worst versions of ourselves possible, clowns that, are deceived about literally everything, clowns that eat the most disgusting things. You're eating things that come out of birds' behinds. You're drinking cows' tit secretions that are like moldy and like pus and blood, like just the most disgusting things. So once the actual power, the authority changes, then we'll see some real impressive humans. And changing the schooling system to teaching the truth first and foremost, but also being like, not cookie cutter education where every child is treated the same way, because that's not realistic. Some children love math, other children absolutely hate math. Some children love science, other children aren't going to like it. Like, the children's education, there are basic things that children do need to know. But I personally plan on doing child-led education, to where you observe the child and what they're into, and you change the environment to foster their education in these topics that they're interested in. So if like you see that your kid really likes like making concoctions or something, you're like, they might like some more sciencey type stuff, and then you might get them like a science kit or science books or something along these lines, to foster that learning, the love of learning, rather than sitting in a desk for 8 hours a day. Repeat this information, repeat what I say, do what I say, sit down, stand up, pledge of allegiance, repeat the answers to pass the test, and then you're gone. Like, people think that being intelligent is just repeating what their teacher taught them in school. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, because flat earthers deal with this all of the time. They're like, oh, the education system failed you. Like, you think that repeating what your teacher taught you as a little baby, is what makes you smart, and that's not the case. So sorry it's so loud in here. There's like a full house and some rowdy teenagers over there. But again, it is 4th of July weekend, so there's a lot of traffic in the area, and yeah. I'm actually not sure how long I'm even going to stay on today. I wanted to get into the actual topics that I wanted to discuss, because, like I said, I am working on digging like an extreme amount of trenching at my house right now, and I have a lot of work to do. So, Kyle says the closest lake is maybe 20 minutes. Oh, that's not too bad. How often do you get to go? It's hard when you don't have like multiple days off in a row to do anything like camping, or, well, I guess you could go somewhere on your night off, like the night after work. After work, go camping, and then have the day off, and then go back to work the next day. I mean, yeah. David says that they create a reality where souls that agree to take human form are the most corrupted and clown-like, a soul circus. Yes. Definitely some jealous issues going on with those that are farming humanity. But I've said before about, if you've seen Toy Story, where the older toys get put on the shelf, and it's like the kids playing with the new toys now, and the one that's on the shelf, can get jealous of the new toy. It's the same type of thing with creation. Like, these other species were God's focus before humans were created. Like, when reality first started, when there were no other species like this, when the Jinn were first created, they had God's undivided attention. And then over time, it's like, oh, well, here's a new species. So the Jinn get put into the background while he's focusing on the next. Then the next one comes, and now there's 2 species over here on, in the background, while he focuses on this one. So you can see over time, more and more species get created, and the old ones join this side to, the dislike of the new one. And now we have like all of the species over here and humans over here. And, the way that humanity is acting is making us look like the worst species possible, like trying to make God regret making us and to ultimately get him to stop creating us. So, making us trash the earth and, the kidnap, rape, and murder of animals, the carelessness, the sexual degeneracy, the like everything that they're doing is ultimately, like David's trying to say, try to make humans the most corrupted and clown-like possible. So, yes. Harmon Walker says, of all things that would get the attention of controllers is stop sending the children to schools. I agree completely with that. I would never send my children to be raised by somebody else. It's extremely crazy to me that they have convinced everybody to do this. But, if you look at kind of how they've done it over time, where they had, the mother in the household taking care of the kids, and the father going out to work, and then over time they promote this like, oh, females, you are oppressed because you're at home, and then, oh, male, like they're seeding these issues to try to get us to react. And then all of a sudden it's like, we demand to vote, we demand to be working alongside the men, and like they get us to leave the house on our own. Like it's just an interesting to look back to see how they actually manipulate humans to do these types of things. It's not like they just woke up one morning and all of a sudden things are changed. It's like a constant drip of corruption over time, and now it's like that drip has turned into like the spout is fully on, and now we have drag time story hour. And if you are against it, if you're against these sodomites in dresses being around your children, then you're a bigot. They call me a bigot, I guess, because you guys aren't getting anywhere near my children. Like, yes, okay. Aaron Walker says your background noise is not that bad. Okay, good. A lot of the people have actually left. So, David says they believe being smart means you regulate nonsense accurate. Regulate, yeah, or regurgitate nonsense accurately, not how much truth you actually know. Exactly. So I actually, like I said, want to grab. I'm not sure what I should do first, my poetry or the unveiling of my new chess character. The poem that I posted actually was this cute, I'll do that one first. This cute lamb playing chess. Larry the Lamb is his name. And let's just read it really quick. Larry the Lamb, whose fleece is white as snow, is a grandmaster at chess, don't you know? On the run for his whole life, chased by demons with a knife. If you want to kill him, that is scary, because only a monster would eat Larry. Look at how cute he is. Sometimes AI art generation gives you some really cute things, but it was basically channeled to me that it has been really powerful, and basically giving these cute little animals names like this and making them more personable is helping people to stop eating them, to stop helping people to stop eat them. Yeah, stop eating them. Sorry, I'm like, is that proper English? Okay. So, along that very same line, in the chess news, memes, and humor group, I have launched a new segment called Chess Characters. Well, it's not really called anything particularly, but they are chess characters. So you see there, this is Paul the Pawn, and I wanted to read the poem that I came up with for Paul the Pawn, and then I want to reveal the newest character to you that I am going to post today. Paul was raised to win every chess race. But his dream was always to fly up to space, to escape the chessboard world he's known and explore the space balls that NASA has shown. He realized his dreams were all for naught the day he became an astronaut. All suited up and ready to go, they led him to the set of a TV show. Paul the Pawn felt like a total fool. Wait, the space station is in a swimming pool? Oh dear boy, his evil boss replied. I guess today's the day that you see we've lied. Devastated, Paul's dreams were shattered. For his entire life, only space mattered. Wasted life, wasted dreams. Paul now went home, thinking about wasted effort he'd spent. Now his life mission, for all it's worth, would be to tell everyone about flat Earth. So I thought that was pretty cute. And again, here's Paul the Pawn all dressed up like a, astronaut, scuba diver guy, right? The International Space Station is in this giant swimming pool. That's where they film all their spacewalks. That's why you can often see during these spacewalks bubbles because they're underwater. There's also compilation videos on YouTube here of bubbles in space showing how often this actually happens. So they use this giant mock-up of what they tell us is in the sky, right? This ISS in a swimming pool. Then they use green screen technology to, oh, look, we're in space. So, yes. Paul the Pawn, really great flat Earth poem. Thank you, David D. I'll get back to your thing about the more wholesome content in just a second. After I reveal the newest character. Oh no, I should have saved the actual meme to my phone so you can see the picture of the character. Let me actually just save it really quick. Drum roll continues. Okay. I plan to make a lot more of these characters going forward as well. This is just the beginning. I need to make Kyle the Knight for Kyle. It's kind of really hard to actually generate these things on the AI art websites. Well, at least the one that I use, Midjourney AI, which is actually something that I paid to use their services, and it's still like, if you actually start to generate the artwork, you'll see how much of it is a joke on humans. Like, real AI intelligence would easily be able to give you what you ask for. It knows what you're asking for. There's not any ridiculous little mess ups and just if you use the word in the wrong order, it might produce something extremely bizarre because you placed the proposition on this side instead of that side, or preposition, sorry. So, yes. Now, let me get to my thing. This character is named Ronnie Rookie. And it is a tribute to Ronnie Radke. And as you can see, it is a rook with flames behind him. Let me read you what I wrote here. Okay. Tired of waiting so long to take his turn, Ronnie Rookie wants to watch the world burn. Waiting till the end to join the action never quite gave his soul satisfaction. He looks at the pawns, and all that he sees, a line of toy soldiers, mindless zombies. His long-range chess sight makes him perceptive, realized early that this world's deceptive. Pawns being used in criminals' war game, selling out their souls for riches and fame. refusing to be like those fools and tools. Ronnie Rookie always plays by his rules. Da, 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 da. Kyle says Ronnie Rookie. I should have seen that coming. Yeah, and I put a few different references. Obviously, the Watch the World Burn. But he also has a song called Zombified. Well, they also have a song called Zombified. So the mindless zombies is part of that. So I thought that was kind of cute. And like I said, I plan to make more of those in the future. I'll probably start on the next one today after I post that out. But I was super excited. And yes, look how cute it is. All right. So I actually only have a few questions that I was asked to answer that I wanted to just touch on really quick. That might take a little bit longer than a minute. The first one is how. Let me just read the actual question here. Da, 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 da. Why are you vegan? Okay. I'm glad that you guys liked the poem and the character. So, why am I vegan? Well, ultimately, the Gospel of the Holy 12 is the text that I point to that really changed everything for me. And, saying no blood offering of beast or bird or man can take away sin. For how can the conscience be purged from sin by the shedding of innocent blood? Nay, it will increase the condemnation. It also, has different references of him saying that he came into the world to Christ came into the world to stop the animal sacrifices and the consummation of innocent flesh, and multiple stories of him, speaking about it, and how you can't be righteous if your hands are stained with blood and your mouth is defiled with flesh. So, those factors, along with being made aware of the fact that, I desperately want to be a mom, and I know that karma is real. So if I pay for another mother to be separated from her child for milk, for a cheeseburger, for any of these things, for any reason at all, I am consenting to that happening to me. And I can't do that because if someone tried to take my child from me, I would happily pass them on to meet the creator. I would have no issue with doing that. Like, you don't come after my child, or you will face the mama bear. Like, yeah, and she's gonna tear you apart first and ask questions later. Probably won't even ask questions. Like, anyways, I'll not get too aggressive. Um, But anyways, so that is ultimately why I am vegan, and why I promote a vegan world, because I understand that we as humans we don't deserve to be free if we enslave other species. We deserve much worse than what we are facing now. Like, even all the horrible stories of the concentration camps that we hear, compared to the CAFOs that I have seen, humans are getting off very easy. Most humans don't realize what they're doing is wrong. And when we go and tell them that what they're doing is wrong, that basically, knowledge is a blessing and a curse in some ways, they say. Because now that you know that it's evil, if you continue to do it, you're going to be in a lot more trouble than you were in when you were in ignorance. So you're welcome. Wake up. Time to wake up. Yeah. So that is ultimately why I am vegan. And the other question was, how are you going to stop other people from eating animals? Well, obviously, during the golden age, when I buy the restaurants and the stores and all this stuff, then I can make them vegan. And ultimately, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. people want to cry about a vegan forcing their will on them because of vegan typing words on the internet. Like, you haven't seen someone forcing their will on you until you come across me, because you are forcing your will on those animals. You're forcing cows and other animals to be raped, to be used, abused, and sliced and diced. Like, that's extreme, and I'm willing to fight that with extreme measures as well. Like, I'm not into like sadistic chopping people up and like that kind of thing. But I will definitely fight, kill, and die for the cause, for veganism, for the animals, and yeah. So, what will I do? How will I keep them vegan? During the golden age, there will be laws. There will be, everything's veganized, so you can't actually get it, and all that. But until then, this is a war. This game that we play is built off of the game of chess, having chess elements incorporated into the design, and part of that is this battle between light and dark. This is a war going on around us, and I'm not interested in passively sitting around and saying kumbaya. It's like, if you are going to kill that cow, you're going to have to come through me first, and I am willing to fight, kill, and die over it. Are you? Most people will probably not. They're more like keyboard warriors and not actually warriors. So thankfully, I have that upper hand, that basically the majority of humans are complete cowards that don't want to die, and they definitely aren't going to try to die over a cheeseburger or bacon or anything else. And I will. So, yep. Not really trying to get all hyper in my live feed today. But yeah. Do you guys have any 4th of July plans? I said earlier I plan on going home and doing some digging today. So I really don't have any 4th of July plans. I'm not going to go, and I don't even know where they're doing fireworks or anything. I don't really agree with fireworks, actually. As pretty as they can be, they do cause, a lot of issues in the animal kingdom and panic and stuff. What I think that they could do, which is really awesome, is like drone shows where, you can just go on YouTube and look up drone shows. They have really awesome abilities to like do even cooler things than they can do with fireworks. So that would be how I would choose to celebrate, a 4th of July type, firework event in the golden age. So anyways, Hammer Walker says the poems and characters were very inspiring. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys like it. But yeah, those are the 2 main questions that I needed to answer today. If you guys have any other questions, I would love to answer them next week, but I am going to get off of here because I have things to do, and I will catch up with you next week, and I will be, on Facebook and everything in the meantime. So yeah, I'm thinking of starting to post more to my Queen Inanna Snow page, rather than my profile. So if my posts stop and are mainly on there, you should find me on there instead. All right. So I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good and safe 4th of July. May God and the Goddess bless you.